Attraction is often driven by a woman's self-awareness and confidence, yet many don't realize how focusing on oneself can be the key to becoming irresistible. Men are naturally drawn to what's rare, valuable, and hard to attain. When a woman shifts her attention inward, prioritizing her own growth, passions, and happiness, she emits a magnetic energy that can't be ignored. This doesn't mean acting distant or aloof, but rather cultivating self-love and fulfillment. The foundation of this attraction lies in self-awareness. When a woman understands her worth and lives a life aligned with her values, she becomes someone who isn't dependent on external validation. Instead of chasing attention, she becomes inviting, radiating confidence and independence. Men are drawn to women who are grounded, self-sufficient, and living lives that reflect purpose. This shift not only attracts them, but also deepens respect. When a woman sets boundaries, prioritizes her own well-being, and dedicates time to personal growth, she signals self-respect and confidence. These qualities create an aura of mystery and intrigue that sparks a man's curiosity. They want to know who she is, what drives her, and how she carries herself. In turn, this builds a level of admiration that goes beyond surface-level attraction. By focusing on your passions, goals, and self-fulfillment, you create a life that feels rich and meaningful, and it's this authenticity that naturally draws men in. When you stop depending on external validation and instead embrace who you are, men begin to seek you out, not because they feel obligated, but because they're genuinely curious about the woman who's confidently living her own life. Number 1. Men are naturally attracted to what's rare and hard to get. Men are naturally drawn to what feels rare and difficult to obtain, a tendency deeply ingrained in human psychology and evolutionary history. From an evolutionary perspective, scarcity has always been a factor that increased the perceived value of resources, whether it be food, material goods, or even potential mates. In this context, men are wired to seek out women who are less available, who present challenges, and who appear self-sufficient and confident. When something is abundant or easily accessible, its value tends to diminish. Men are naturally inclined to appreciate the pursuit of something that feels harder to acquire, something that isn't readily available or overly accessible. In relationships, this translates to attraction toward women who aren't constantly seeking attention, who don't appear desperate or overly dependent on others for validation. Men are drawn to women who have their own lives, ambitions, and passions, qualities that signal self-containment and a sense of independence. The idea of scarcity creates a sense of mystery and intrigue. When something feels rare or unattainable, it sparks curiosity. Men are naturally curious about what they can't easily obtain, and this curiosity fuels their desire. A woman who maintains a sense of self-worth and independence becomes an enigma, someone they want to understand better. When a woman isn't always available or seeking constant validation, it makes men wonder what she is up to, who she is spending her time with, and what makes her so captivating. This kind of intrigue fosters attraction. Men respect women who set boundaries and prioritize their own lives and commitments. When a woman has a full and enriching life, men tend to perceive her as someone who is confident, secure, and not desperate for their attention. This doesn't mean that men don't seek relationships or emotional connection, but rather that they are more drawn to relationships where both individuals bring value to each other's lives, rather than feeling like they are solely responsible for fulfilling the other's every need. The perception of a woman being rare and difficult to obtain not only increases her attractiveness, but also builds respect in the eyes of men. Men tend to admire women who have a sense of self-respect and who aren't willing to compromise their needs to accommodate others. When a woman values her own time and priorities, It sends a powerful message that she isn't readily available, and that makes her more valuable in their eyes. Men naturally respect what they have to earn, and when they see that a woman values her own time and happiness, it encourages them to step up and earn their place in her life. This sense of respect and admiration becomes particularly appealing because men want to feel that they are pursuing something meaningful and valuable, not something that's easily within their reach. When a woman appears too available or desperate for their attention, it can often diminish the sense of fulfillment and desire they have. On the other hand, when she appears confident and self-sufficient, it creates a sense of respect and admiration that keeps them interested and invested. Men are attracted to women who don't seem to be seeking their validation, because this signals confidence and self-worth. When a woman's life feels rich and fulfilling, men are naturally drawn to be part of that world, not out of obligation, but out of admiration and desire. The act of ignoring or not being overly available doesn't push men away. It actually draws them closer because they begin to value the woman's time and presence. This is not about playing hard to get or being distant, but rather about maintaining a balance between showing interest and staying true to one's own priorities. Setting boundaries doesn't mean shutting men out. Rather, it demonstrates self-respect and a recognition that one's time is valuable. Men respect women who honor their commitments and who are mindful of their own schedules, rather than rearranging their lives for others at the drop of a hat. When a woman exhibits these qualities, she signals to men that her attention isn't something they can take for granted, and that in turn fosters deeper respect and attraction. When a woman's life feels rich and fulfilling, it creates an allure that makes men want to invest in getting to know her better, to understand what makes her so captivating. Men respect women who don't just chase after them, but who invite connection from a place of self-love and confidence. This distinction is key. Men are drawn to women who are fulfilling their own lives, not those who seem to be seeking external validation or approval. By ignoring the need for constant attention or validation, a woman becomes more magnetic because she embodies qualities of self-worth, independence, and confidence. In this way, men are not simply attracted to women who appear scarce, but rather to those who radiate these rare qualities in a way that feels meaningful and enriching. The act of ignoring isn't about rejection or aloofness. It's about creating space for genuine connection that stems from mutual respect and admiration. Men are naturally inclined to pursue what feels valuable and difficult to obtain, and when a woman embodies those qualities, it doesn't repel men. It draws them in. The pursuit of such qualities fosters deeper connection and admiration, transforming how men experience attraction and desire. Number 2. Emotional independence makes you irresistible. Emotional independence is one of the most attractive qualities a person can possess. When someone is emotionally independent, they demonstrate a sense of self-reliance and confidence that goes beyond external validation or dependency on others for their happiness. This independence doesn't mean avoiding connection or shutting people out, but rather having the strength and self-awareness to maintain a sense of self-worth, even when others may not always provide the reassurance or approval they seek. People who are emotionally independent are not reliant on others for their sense of purpose or validation. They have cultivated a deep understanding of their own worth and aren't constantly seeking external validation to feel secure. This quality often translates into a calm confidence that draws others toward them. Men, in particular, are naturally attracted to women who exhibit emotional independence because it signals a strong sense of self. A woman who is emotionally independent doesn't appear needy or dependent on others to complete her. Instead, she's comfortable with who she is and is capable of standing on her own, whether or not someone else is present. This type of woman knows how to create fulfillment within herself, and that self-sufficiency is magnetic. Men are hardwired to value what they have to work for, and an emotionally independent woman represents something that requires effort to connect with, something worth pursuing. Emotional independence creates a sense of mystery which piques curiosity. When a person isn't constantly seeking others for reassurance or validation, it raises questions. What is she up to? Why is she so self-assured? This sense of intrigue naturally draws people closer because it implies depth, resilience, and self-assuredness. Men are drawn to the challenge of getting to know someone who isn't an open book, someone whose confidence doesn't stem solely from external sources. When a woman maintains emotional independence, she becomes less predictable and more captivating. It's not about playing games or creating distance, but about maintaining a balance between connection and self-sufficiency. Men are naturally attracted to individuals who have a full life beyond them. When a woman's emotional independence is evident, it signals that she doesn't need a man to complete her or fulfill her happiness, which makes her even more desirable. Men respect women who know their own worth and who demonstrate self-love. When a woman has a sense of emotional independence, she doesn't depend on others to validate her worth or self-esteem. Instead, she is aware of her own strengths and knows how to nurture herself emotionally. This independence makes her more grounded and centered, qualities that men find highly attractive. Men are drawn to women who have a life of their own, who pursue their passions, goals, and interests with confidence. These women aren't desperate for attention or validation. They already have that foundation within themselves. Emotional independence isn't about shutting out others, but rather creating space for authentic connections. When a woman isn't overly reliant on external validation, she doesn't come across as desperate or clingy. Instead, she becomes a source of calm strength, someone who others admire and respect. Men are drawn to this emotional maturity because it shows that a woman isn't looking for someone else to complete her or fill a void in her life. When a woman has emotional independence, she isn't always available or seeking constant attention. This creates a sense of boundaries that men find attractive. Boundaries signal self-respect, and when a woman is emotionally independent, she isn't constantly rearranging her life for others. She understands her own priorities and isn't willing to sacrifice them for short-term gratification. Men respect women who honor their commitments and who have a life beyond simply being available. When a woman shows that her time and energy are valuable, it encourages men to pursue her with genuine intention rather than expecting her to be at their beck and call. Emotional independence doesn't mean a lack of connection. It means the ability to maintain a strong sense of self while still nurturing relationships that align with one's values. A woman who embodies emotional independence naturally creates a sense of respect and admiration. Men admire women who have a full life, who are confident in their ability to create happiness from within, and who don't rely on others to fulfill their emotional needs. This creates an attraction that goes beyond superficiality and dependency and instead builds a deeper, more meaningful connection. Men are drawn to women who are grounded, self-assured, and who are not constantly seeking their validation or approval. When a woman exudes emotional independence, she becomes a source of stability and strength. This emotional strength is inherently attractive because it shows a level of maturity and self-awareness. Men recognize and respect women who are emotionally self-sufficient, and this respect often transforms into admiration and deeper attraction. Emotional independence isn't about isolation or loneliness. It's about the ability to stand confidently in one's own sense of self while remaining open to meaningful relationships. When men see a woman who is emotionally independent, they are drawn to the authenticity and confidence she radiates. It's not about trying to manipulate or control a situation. It's about being true to oneself, and that authenticity naturally draws people in. Men are naturally attracted to women who know their worth and who demonstrate emotional maturity. They value women who are capable of providing their own emotional fulfillment because these women tend to inspire confidence, stability, and long-term connection. In essence, emotional independence creates an irresistible energy that draws men closer, not by demanding attention, but by embodying self-assurance and authenticity. Number 3. Setting boundaries builds deep respect. Setting boundaries is a fundamental aspect of self-respect and emotional well-being, and it has a profound impact on the respect others have for you. Boundaries are not about shutting others out or being rigid. Rather, they serve as a clear communication of what you value, prioritize, and deserve in your relationships. When you set healthy boundaries, you signal that your time, energy, and emotional resources are valuable, and this respect for yourself fosters deeper respect from others. Without boundaries, people may unknowingly take advantage of your willingness to accommodate their needs, leading to a cycle of depletion and resentment. However, when boundaries are firmly established, they create a framework of respect that reinforces your sense of self-worth. Boundaries show others that you understand your limits and are unwilling to compromise your values or well-being for short-term gains. Men, in particular, are drawn to women who have clear boundaries because they reflect a sense of confidence, self-respect, and emotional maturity. When you assert boundaries, you are essentially teaching others how to treat you. If someone consistently disregards your boundaries, it sends a message that their needs are more important than yours, eroding respect over time. However, when boundaries are communicated and upheld consistently, it instills a sense of respect and admiration. Men are naturally inclined to value women who show they are capable of standing firm in their sense of self. Boundaries create an air of mystery and intrigue as well. When a woman's time and energy are not easily available, men are naturally drawn to her, wondering what she's up to and what makes her so confident. This curiosity enhances attraction, as men are wired to value what they have to earn. When a woman demonstrates that her time is valuable and not up for negotiation, it signals emotional strength, self-awareness, and a life of purpose beyond seeking external validation. Men respect women who have clear boundaries because they perceive them as emotionally secure and grounded. Boundaries are an act of self-care, and when a woman practices them, she projects a sense of control over her life. This control isn't about being rigid or inflexible, but about maintaining a healthy balance between connection and autonomy. Men are often drawn to women who know how to create space for themselves without abandoning the potential for deep relationships. Setting boundaries allows a woman to prioritize her own needs and commitments, which in turn fosters an environment of respect. When a woman says no to a last-minute plan or refuses to drop her commitments for someone else's convenience, it signals that she values her own time, energy, and priorities. This doesn't come from a place of selfishness, but rather self-respect. Boundaries create structure, and structure is attractive because it signals confidence, stability, and a sense of purpose. When men observe that a woman's time isn't easily accessible, they often perceive her as someone who is confident and self-assured, qualities that naturally inspire respect and admiration. Boundaries also prevent emotional exhaustion and burnout, which are key to maintaining a sense of balance. When you consistently prioritize your needs, you avoid the trap of constantly adjusting your life to accommodate others, and this builds resilience. Men respect women who are capable of maintaining their own emotional equilibrium, and boundaries play a significant role in achieving this. Emotional independence and boundaries go hand in hand, creating a life that is centered around self-worth rather than dependence on others for validation or approval. Boundaries reinforce the idea that a woman has her own life, her own passions, and her own priorities, which are not negotiable or secondary. Men naturally value women who have a clear sense of purpose and direction, as these qualities evoke respect and admiration. When boundaries are communicated and maintained, they often create deeper connections because they promote a healthy exchange of respect. A woman who knows how to set boundaries demonstrates emotional maturity, which men find attractive because it shows that she is self-aware, intentional, and capable of forming meaningful relationships. Boundaries also foster a sense of safety and trust. When people know what to expect from you, they feel safe engaging with you in a genuine and respectful way. Boundaries communicate that you are comfortable with who you are, and this authenticity is magnetic. When men sense that a woman's boundaries are rooted in self-respect, they are more likely to engage with her in a manner that respects those boundaries. They are naturally drawn to women who exude confidence, emotional strength, and clarity, all of which are cultivated through setting and maintaining boundaries. Moreover, boundaries empower a woman to stand in her truth, and this sense of empowerment enhances her presence and attractiveness. Men are naturally attracted to women who live by their own values and are unapologetically true to themselves. Boundaries reinforce that a woman's time, energy, and emotional space are non-negotiable, and this conveys a level of self-assurance that is highly desirable. In the long run, setting boundaries builds a foundation of deep respect, not just from others, but from yourself as well. It is through these boundaries that you teach others how to treat you, leading to healthier relationships that are rooted in mutual respect and admiration. Number 4. Curiosity drives men's attraction. Curiosity is one of the most powerful driving forces behind men's attraction. When a man is curious about a woman, it signals an interest that goes far beyond surface-level attraction. Humans are naturally drawn to what they don't fully understand, and curiosity taps into this primal instinct. Men are wired to seek out what feels new, mysterious, or intriguing. When a woman maintains an air of mystery, she becomes something that feels rare and valuable, qualities that naturally trigger curiosity. A man's attraction isn't simply about physical appearance, it's about how a woman presents herself and what she leaves to the imagination. When a woman shows that she's multidimensional and doesn't reveal everything about herself all at once, it sparks curiosity. Men tend to be more drawn to women who don't constantly seek their attention or validation, as this creates a sense of scarcity. Scarcity increases value, and men are inherently attracted to what feels difficult or elusive. When a woman shows that she has her own life, her own passions, and her own pursuits, she becomes something he has to discover rather than something that's easily accessible. Curiosity thrives on a sense of exploration, and men are naturally drawn to women who seem confident, self-assured, and independent. A woman who seems deeply connected to herself and her interests creates an air of mystery that piques a man's curiosity. It makes him wonder, what makes her so intriguing? What does she enjoy? What does she think about? These questions create mental engagement and emotional intrigue. The key here isn't about playing hard to get or being aloof, but rather about maintaining an authentic balance between connection and independence. When a woman is self-sufficient and doesn't rely solely on external validation, she becomes a source of endless fascination. Curiosity thrives in environments where there's room for growth and discovery. When a woman sets boundaries and fills her life with activities that bring her genuine joy, it naturally gives men something to wonder about. They aren't drawn to women who appear desperate for attention or validation, because that reduces the element of mystery. Instead, men are attracted to women who seem to have their own world, one that they're constantly exploring. This sense of exploration makes the woman feel dynamic, interesting, and worthy of pursuit. Curiosity also arises from how a woman carries herself. A confident woman who knows her worth and has a sense of purpose tends to leave a lasting impression. Men are drawn to this confidence because it signals that she knows who she is and what she wants. A woman who is deeply engaged with her own life becomes someone who is constantly evolving, and that evolution creates curiosity. Men are curious about women who seem to be on a journey, whether that journey is self-discovery, personal growth, or exploration of new passions. They want to know what drives her, what makes her happy, and what she's passionate about. When a woman shows a genuine commitment to her own interests, it opens up new dimensions that captivate a man's attention. Curiosity also flourishes in the presence of mystery. When a woman doesn't share every detail of her life or reveal her thoughts on every subject, she naturally fosters a sense of curiosity. Men wonder about what she's thinking, what she's feeling, and what motivates her. This curiosity isn't born from superficiality, but from an appreciation of the depth that lies beneath the surface. Men are drawn to women who are layered, multidimensional, and complex. A woman who appears fully self-possessed and independent naturally creates space for men to explore and engage with her on a deeper level. Curiosity isn't simply about attraction, it's about connection and the desire to understand someone in a meaningful way. Men are often more interested in women who leave a bit of mystery because it gives them the opportunity to step into the role of explorer. When a man senses there's more to discover, he's more likely to stay engaged, as the process of discovery often deepens his connection. In this process, men value what they earn, and when they see that a woman has boundaries, confidence, and interests that go beyond just seeking their attention. Number 5. From chasing to inviting, shift the dynamic. The shift from chasing to inviting is a profound transformation that can alter the dynamics of relationships in powerful ways. Chasing tends to come from a place of insecurity or neediness, an underlying desire to control outcomes or seek validation. When a woman is caught up in chasing, she often invests disproportionate amounts of energy trying to gain someone's attention or approval. This creates an imbalance where her focus is predominantly external, leaving her vulnerable to disappointment and frustration. However, when a woman makes the shift from chasing to inviting, everything changes. Instead of seeking constant validation or trying to control outcomes, she takes a step back and focuses on creating a life that's fulfilling and complete on her own terms. The act of inviting stems from a place of abundance and self-assurance. It's not about forcing someone to care, but about presenting herself as someone who is content and self-sufficient. When a woman operates from this place, she naturally exudes confidence and magnetism. The shift to inviting is not about giving up or withdrawing, it's about stepping into her own power. An inviting woman is someone who values her time, boundaries, and commitments. She understands that her life is full of purpose and joy, and she doesn't rely on external circumstances or other people to dictate her worth or happiness. By living authentically and pursuing her own passions, she becomes someone who is genuinely attractive and captivating. Chasing often stems from a fear of loss or scarcity, whereas inviting arises from a place of confidence and abundance. When a woman embraces her worth and recognizes that she doesn't need to prove herself, she stops chasing outcomes and starts inviting the right people into her life. The dynamic shifts, because when you chase someone, you send a message of desperation and insecurity. This makes people feel they have the power and control, leading them to lose interest over time. However, when a woman adopts an inviting approach, she creates a sense of allure and mystery. She doesn't try to push or pull someone toward her. Instead, she allows them to come to her naturally, which fosters a sense of respect and admiration. The power of inviting lies in its subtlety. It's not about playing hard to get or manipulating someone into wanting her. It's about living her life in a way that feels authentic and meaningful. Men are naturally attracted to women who are self-assured and grounded. When a woman operates from this space, she doesn't feel the need to chase or beg for attention. Instead, she focuses on creating a life that's fulfilling, and that sense of fulfillment is what becomes magnetic. The shift from chasing to inviting also creates an environment where boundaries are respected. When a woman shifts from a mindset of chasing to one of inviting, she starts valuing her time and energy, which enhances her self-worth. She no longer feels the need to rearrange her plans or compromise her priorities to seek someone's attention. Instead, she invites meaningful connections that align with her values and goals. This creates a dynamic where people are naturally drawn to her, not out of obligation or desperation, but out of genuine respect and interest. The idea of inviting also shifts the power dynamic in relationships. When a woman operates from a place of inviting, she no longer feels the need to cling to others or constantly seek their approval. Instead, she invites people into her life because they complement her, not because she needs their validation. This shift not only fosters healthy relationships, but also allows her to maintain her sense of independence and self-respect. Men are drawn to this kind of self-assured energy because it signals confidence and worth. When a woman is constantly chasing, it often signals a lack of something she believes she needs. But when she adopts the mindset of inviting, she becomes a source of curiosity and intrigue, sparking the interest of those who value what's rare and authentic. The shift from chasing to inviting is transformative. It changes the way relationships are formed and maintained. It's not about running after someone, but creating a life that feels whole and complete, inviting those who are genuinely aligned with her values and goals. When a woman stops chasing and instead focuses on living a life of purpose and fulfillment, she becomes someone who inspires others to step into her world, not out of obligation, but out of admiration and respect. This shift, rooted in self-awareness and confidence, ultimately leads to more meaningful and authentic connections. Number 6. Self-love and self-fulfillment are magnetic. Self-love and self-fulfillment are two of the most magnetic qualities a person can possess. When a woman cultivates genuine self-love, she becomes radiant, attractive, and irresistible to those around her. This isn't about vanity or arrogance. It's about a deep understanding and acceptance of who she is, flaws, strengths, and all. Self-love is the foundation from which everything else flows. It's the belief that she is enough, that her worth doesn't come from external validation, but from within. When a woman truly loves herself, she radiates confidence and self-assuredness that others are naturally drawn to. People are naturally attracted to those who exude positivity, self-respect, and an inner sense of peace. Self-love isn't just about accepting who she is. It's about nurturing herself, investing in her well-being, and prioritizing her own needs. When she fills her life with activities, passions, and relationships that genuinely fulfill her, she becomes a magnet for others. This self-fulfillment comes from a place of authenticity, where her happiness isn't dependent on someone else's approval or presence. Instead, she finds joy in her own company, pursuing her passions and creating a life that aligns with her values. That energy of being at peace with herself creates a magnetic aura that draws others toward her. When a woman is content and fulfilled, she naturally becomes someone others want to be around. Self-love and self-fulfillment aren't about seeking validation from others, but rather cultivating an internal sense of worth that becomes undeniable. It's a power that can't be manufactured or forced. People are drawn to those who have a clear sense of purpose, someone who is happy and in control of their life. When a woman feels fulfilled, she radiates a sense of peace and joy that is contagious. Others notice this and become curious, wondering what makes her so captivating. The beauty of self-love and self-fulfillment is that they shine through in everything she does, her actions, her words, and even her silence. There's a quiet confidence that stems from knowing she doesn't need external validation, and this creates an irresistible allure. People are drawn to those who are secure in themselves, who carry a quiet assurance that they are worthy and valuable, not because someone tells them so, but because they believe it. This isn't about being self-centered or indifferent to others. It's about understanding that one's own well-being and happiness are the foundation from which meaningful connections are built. When a woman loves herself, she doesn't chase attention or seek approval. Instead, she invites others into her life by being genuine and authentic. People are naturally attracted to those who are real, who don't try to be someone they're not, and who have a grounded sense of who they are. Self-love creates a magnetic pull because it signals independence and inner peace. A woman who is fulfilled in herself doesn't need to rely on others to complete her. She's already complete. That completeness is what makes her appealing to others. Men, in particular, are drawn to women who exude self-respect and self-worth. There's something captivating about a woman who doesn't chase or need validation, but rather invites with confidence and grace. When a woman knows her worth, she doesn't settle for anything less than what she deserves. This attitude becomes incredibly attractive because it communicates self-respect and boundaries. A woman who truly loves and values herself is not willing to compromise her own needs or boundaries for someone else's approval. This doesn't mean she's cold or unapproachable. It means she's confident and knows what she deserves. People respect and admire those who have self-love because they radiate a quiet yet undeniable power. They aren't seeking constant reassurance or external validation, and this independence makes them magnetic. Self-fulfillment creates a dynamic where she's not clinging to others for her happiness. Instead, she's living a full and joyful life that others want to be a part of. The people who are drawn to her are not seeking someone to complete them, but someone who complements their life. When a woman is self-fulfilled, she becomes a source of inspiration and energy, creating an environment where relationships are built on mutual respect and admiration. Self-love and self-fulfillment aren't just qualities that enhance her own life. They become the foundation for creating meaningful and lasting connections with others. The most magnetic people are those who are deeply in love with their own lives, who carry themselves with confidence, and who invite others into their world without needing to chase or prove their worth. This magnetic energy is what draws others to them, whether it's friends, romantic partners, or colleagues, because there's an authenticity that cannot be ignored. In the end, self-love and self-fulfillment become more than personal qualities. They become the keys to attracting the right people into her life, creating a life filled with connection, respect, and joy. Number 7. Men want women who don't depend on their attention. Men are naturally drawn to women who don't rely on their attention for validation or self-worth. This doesn't mean they don't care about the man or his presence in their life. It means they have a strong sense of independence and self-assurance that doesn't depend on constant reassurance or external validation. When a woman shows that she doesn't need a man's attention to feel fulfilled or valuable, it creates a sense of intrigue and admiration. Men are hardwired to pursue what they perceive as rare and unattainable, and women who are emotionally self-sufficient fit this dynamic perfectly. A woman who doesn't chase attention, but instead focuses on her own growth and well-being, sends a powerful message that she's secure in herself and her worth. This confidence is magnetic and creates a natural respect from the man. When a woman isn't constantly seeking approval or validation, she becomes someone the man wants to get to know better because he's intrigued by her self-reliance. Men are drawn to women who have clear boundaries and prioritize their own happiness because it signals that they have something valuable to offer. A woman who doesn't depend on a man's attention knows her worth and isn't afraid to walk away from situations that don't align with her values. This independence and self-sufficiency make her stand out, and men are naturally attracted to women who carry themselves with this sense of inner strength. Men often value what they have to work for, and a woman who doesn't seek constant attention creates a challenge that sparks their interest. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about showing that her world doesn't revolve around anyone else. She has a life full of purpose, goals, and passions that she nurtures, and that radiates a confidence that men find irresistible. When a woman shows that she's content and fulfilled on her own, it removes the pressure on the man to constantly prove himself or provide her with validation. This removes the dynamic of neediness, which often diminishes attraction. Instead, men are drawn to women who have their own lives, interests, and pursuits, because these qualities demonstrate that she's capable of creating a fulfilling life without him. There's a subtle but powerful shift that happens when a woman stops chasing attention and starts focusing on herself. Men become more invested, not because they feel obligated, but because they admire her strength and self-reliance. The desire to pursue a woman grows when she seems confident, self-assured, and secure in her own life. A woman who doesn't depend on a man's attention signals to him that she's independent, capable, and has high standards. This doesn't mean she's unapproachable, rather it means she understands her value and isn't willing to settle for anything less than what she truly deserves. Men naturally respect and are drawn to women who prioritize their own growth and well-being because they know these women are unlikely to seek validation or approval from anyone else. Instead, they build their own sense of identity and self-worth from within, and that self-assurance makes them incredibly attractive. Men want to feel like they are part of something special, and a woman who isn't dependent on their attention creates that allure of exclusivity. She becomes someone who others admire, not because she's chasing them, but because she invites them into her life from a place of strength and confidence. This dynamic, where a woman focuses on her own happiness and personal fulfillment, naturally draws men closer because they respect and value the confidence she exudes. In turn, this creates deeper and more meaningful connections built on admiration, respect, and mutual understanding rather than dependency or neediness. When a woman shows she's not dependent on a man's attention, she becomes someone who is not just admired, but desired in ways that go far beyond surface-level attraction. Number 8. Attraction grows when you focus on yourself. Attraction grows when you focus on yourself because true magnetism comes from within. When a woman prioritizes her own growth, happiness, and well-being, she radiates confidence that others are naturally drawn to. Men are attracted to women who have a sense of purpose and a deep connection with themselves. This isn't about being selfish or self-centered. It's about self-awareness and self-respect. When a woman invests her time, energy, and attention into her passions, goals, and personal development, she becomes more than just someone who is dependent on external validation. She becomes someone who is whole and complete in her own right. Men are drawn to this because it signals that she has something valuable to offer beyond just her appearance or external qualities. A woman who focuses on herself demonstrates self-assurance, resilience, and independence, all of which are highly attractive qualities. When you stop looking for external validation and instead prioritize your own needs, desires, and growth, you become more magnetic. Men are naturally attracted to what is rare and hard to attain, and a woman who doesn't seek constant attention or approval becomes exactly that, rare and valuable. Instead of chasing after men or seeking their validation, the energy shifts. You become someone who is centered and grounded, focused on your own purpose and passions. This transformation invites men to pursue you, not out of a sense of obligation, but out of genuine curiosity and admiration. When you fill your life with things that excite you, whether it's a hobby, a career goal, or personal development, your confidence becomes palpable. Men pick up on this energy, and it draws them in. They become curious about who you are, what you're doing, and how you carry yourself. A woman who knows her worth and lives a life that aligns with her values doesn't feel the need to chase after anyone's attention. Instead, she knows that her time and energy are valuable, and she treats herself with the respect she deserves. This shift in mindset creates a sense of mystery and intrigue. Men are naturally drawn to mystery because it sparks their curiosity and desire to understand more. They want to know what makes a woman tick, what fuels her passion, and what keeps her fulfilled. A woman who is focused on her own self-improvement becomes someone they want to know better, not because she's constantly available or seeking their validation, but because she's living a life that feels rich and purposeful. This creates a sense of admiration and respect, which is often more powerful than fleeting attraction. When you shift your focus inward, you stop putting pressure on yourself to be someone you think others will approve of. Instead, you embrace who you are, flaws and all, and you learn to love that person deeply. This self-love becomes magnetic, drawing people toward you who admire your authenticity. Men are not only attracted to women who are confident and self-assured, but also to those who live with purpose and intention. A woman who has clear goals and passions demonstrates that she is driven, motivated, and focused on her own development. This signals to men that she is not just looking for someone to complete her, but rather someone who is already whole and looking to share her life with someone who complements her. Attraction grows when you create a life that you're excited about living. Men are drawn to the energy that comes from pursuing your own dreams and passions, because it creates an irresistible aura of confidence and self-worth. When you become deeply connected to yourself, your interests, and your purpose, men start to see you as someone who is self-sufficient, independent, and worthy of their respect. They aren't just drawn to you physically, they're drawn to the way you carry yourself, the way you light up when you talk about your goals, and the way you live a life that's aligned with your values. The key here is not about chasing men, but instead focusing on becoming the best version of yourself. As you grow and evolve, your confidence builds, and this naturally attracts others. Men want to be part of a woman's life who is thriving and fulfilled, not just someone who is constantly seeking their attention. When you shift your focus away from needing external validation, you become someone who isn't just attractive, but magnetic in a way that makes people gravitate toward you without even trying. Attraction grows when you stop trying to be what others expect and start becoming who you truly are.